Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Europhoria, our podcast about the great glam and garish from Eurovision history. As ever, I'm joined by Isobel Chilman.
Hello.
And I am Roland Bodnam. We're doing this from...
Got your name there for a minute.
A slight pause. We're doing this from a different location from our first episode. We're doing this from Isobel's kitchen because, Isobel, you are feeling poorly.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds very childish, but I think I have been quite childish today. I had some fillings done and I've never had fillings before, so I didn't know what would happen and I've not felt very well afterwards. I don't like it.
You had a numb mouth.
I had a very numb mouth and I was dribbling quite a bit, and I couldn't talk properly because I couldn't feel the whole of my top lip.
To make you feel a little bit better, Isobel, would you like some Yakut?
Yakut?
Some red wine.
My favourite.
From its product of Turkey. It's from the local Turkish supermarket.
Yeah, TFC. Love it.
Love TFC. Yakut dry red, and from Eastern Anatolia.
Good. Well, at least this is the first time of our 2 podcasts that we've had a wine that's actually from a country that entered the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah. So it's appropriate at the very least. So I'm just opening this. Isobel, talk to me about your experience this morning, having metal in your mouth.
Oh, I don't like it at all. The dentist was lovely, and we chatted about the Spice Girls and their new leaked material, which sounds terrible. Oh, we're getting ready for the pop.
Oh, yeah, sorry. This is the ASMR portion of the podcast where you can... Oh, let me just open the wine.
Yeah.
Here, pass me a glass.
Are you going to do the glugging again?
Oh, aye. Here we go.
A lovely glass of Yakut.
A lovely glass of Yakut from Anatolia. So the 3 things that we do each week is we cover some Eurovision news, we go through our stories of the great glam and garish throughout Eurovision history, and then at the end I play Isobel a song that I feel could potentially enter Eurovision, and then she tells me that it would never enter Eurovision.
Except last week's, I thought it would.
It was.
United we dance, divided we fall, was it called? Yeah, fantastic.
It was all right.
If you haven't had a listen, go back. Episode 1, it's bloody great.
Speaking of which, corrections from last week.
Oh my god, corrections. Okay. Is this is the bit that, what did I call it? Any other business?
Any other business. So my whole basis, Isobel, for the songwriting, which in the start of the episode I said I based the songwriting on give 1,000 monkeys 1,000 typewriters and they'll write Shakespeare. And you said, oh, that'll be a while, but eventually we'll come up with a good song. The actual saying is, give an infinite amount of monkeys, an infinite amount of typewriters, and they'll come up with Shakespeare, which makes it think we're going to have to do this podcast for a lot longer if we want to come up with a correct Eurovision song.
Yeah, that does make more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, because 1,000 monkeys.
But I like you being my monkey, just singular,
just
with
monkey.
The one typewriter, just tapping away, just giving it your best shot forever. I'm into that.
As long as I'm enthusiastic, that's the main thing.
As long as you're having fun.
Okay.
That's what this is about, Roland.
That was my main correction. Okay.
I had a correction, actually.
Go on.
It's only a mild one. I was bad-mouthing... all the things you said running through my head tattoo. And saying that they were they weren't proper gays. They're not real gays, neither of them are. But I wanted to make note that actually one of them, although I think is not a very nice lady, one of them, Lena, is actually a big advocate for the LGBTQ community. So I just wanted to give Lena a big shout out.
So my final correction was that I seemed to at some point, and this was probably towards the end where we'd had our bottle of wine, I seemed to infer that Bolivia were a part of the Eurovision Song Contest.
Oh,
most certainly not.
South America, mate.
South America, yeah.
America.
So who knows though? Australia in, Bolivia next year could potentially get in. So I don't know who I was trying to refer to, but Bolivia most certainly are not in it. Bulgaria,
Any of the bees.
So let's move on. So it's time for Eurovision news.
Eurovision news.
So actually, really ironically, and this is not planned at all, you bringing up the Spice Girls, and this is now less news and more gossip and conjecture. So don't get too excited.
What?
But I saw on a Eurovision news website speculation and rumors that the song leaked earlier by, and they're not called the Spice Girls, they're called Gem because it's not
Jerry MML.
yeah. Was actually going to be a Eurovision Song Contest entry.
No way.
I looked into it and tried to find out sort of what information people had. It's mainly based on the fact that it lasts exactly 3 minutes, and that's the length of a Eurovision song.
If that's what you got, guys, I don't think you got a strong case so far.
Yeah, so it seems to be very, very rumour mill based. However, having listened to the song, it does have a very Eurovision-y vibe. It's lots of oohs, an overall positive message. I think it's called A Song for Her.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and also there were rumours in 2012 that Jerry had proposed a reunion for the song for Eurovision in order to achieve what Blue had failed to do the year previously.
Blue took a good crack at it, though. I was bloody impressed with them boys.
No, they did.
That was a great song.
But I think if Spice Girls reformed, they would have...
Do you think? I'd be very nervous about them not doing well and then it being very embarrassing.
It would be very embarrassing.
They were the biggest girl band in the world.
They would. Also in 2007, Mel C said that she'd like to go to Eurovision. It sounds fun. So
Mel C's she's not part of Gem though, is she? Bloody hell, Mel.
I'm just saying what.
Get involved.
I'm just saying what is. On
the internet's just scraping through anytime any of the Spice Girls said the word Europe. They're like, they love Eurovision.
I bet Mel C said that as in not even perform there, just go to Eurovision.
She probably just said it to Graham Norton as he was talking about how fun Eurovision is, and she went, "Yeah, I'd love to go. It sounds fun."
So other news, proper news. Here's some proper Eurovision news. Spain has received 392 submissions for national selection of their Eurovision song.
What?
392 submissions.
That just made a really weird noise then. I mean, what?
I mean, that's 392 people.
They just open it to anyone then?
I think that's 392 people sending in a song. I probably could enter or submit.
Well, let's find some Spanish heritage and put our name in the hat.
Maybe we should. I'm very English.
I'm very English.
It's so boring. It's so dull. However, they did get some interesting facts from the whopping 392 songs. They broke down the genres that had been entered. They broke them down, but there's a trend, let's say. I'll go through them. So the entries were 26% pop.
Good. It's a good percentage.
10% pop rock. 5% ballads. 5% pop dance.
Nice.
4% electro pop.
Predominantly pop then.
4% rock.
You can't go pure rock at Eurovision.
No, you can't. Other entries included Latin pop.
Please say one was reggae.
Jazz, disco, and reggae.
Reggae! Oh, reggae Eurovision always does horrendously.
Yeah. So we'll see how well they do. They came 22nd last year with what was actually a pretty decent song.
I know, we loved Spain, didn't we? It was
really
that Fabulous
Spain.
Woman.
Looked like Cheryl Tweedy, Cole, Fernandez, Vicini, Cheryl lookalike. That's the news that we've had this week, and news, I'm sure as the weeks roll in, more and more countries will have more and more submissions and entries, and there's already some countries selected their singers. On the Eurovision website, you can go through and their little faces are filled in, and they've got pictures of them, and the other ones are blank. So
I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah, have a little scroll through and see. So, should we move on to the main bulk of the podcast, Isobel?
Yes,
Roland. Stories through the history of Eurovision. Now, as we always say in the 2 episodes that we've been recording so far, Isobel and I don't know what each other has chosen.
Nope.
We give a vague reference so that we know what we are not to do, so that we don't do each other's. Isobel, shall I begin?
Yes, please.
How are you for wine? Are you good for now? Shall I top you up?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, Isobel. My story is called Cliff Richard versus Spain, 1968.
Versus the entire of Spain.
Well, let me take you back to 1968, Isobel. Let me take you back. The popularity of Harold Wilson's Labour Party had slumped to 20 points behind the Conservatives. Enoch Powell warns that immigrants may change the character of England.
Oh,
and the BBC sitcom...
Nothing's changed, is it?
Absolutely not. However, on a brighter note, the one perhaps bright thing of 1968 was on the evening of the 6th of April in the Royal Albert Hall, right here in London, an event was taking place in which 17 countries joined together in a celebration of wonderful, joyous music. It was, of course, the Eurovision Song Contest.
Of course.
And it was also the first time that Eurovision had ever been broadcast in colour.
Oh, yeah. All the outfits. I bet they looked incredible.
I bet they hadn't even considered it before 1968. It's black and white. It doesn't matter.
Oh, my God.
Imagine that now.
No, but I think they still would have, because people knew how to perform. I think even then even though it was in black and white, for the live audience, they'd have worn something fun.
Well, also, at the time, the voting, and we'll go into it a little bit more, but the voting was done by a panel of 10 people from each of the 17 participating countries. And each person from the 10 people would give 1 point to their favourite song, but they were there in the studio, in the Royal Albert Hall.
So you had to wear something wonderful then.
It wasn't for the people at home, it was for the people in the crowd. Yeah. So the night was going well. Everyone was having a great time, and it was time for Britain to perform. And so a bright-eyed 28-year-old Cliff Richard...
Cliff Richard was never 28. He's always been 17.
28-year-old Cliff Richard. There's visual evidence. He walked onto stage and performed what I've seen described as a flawless rendition of his now classic Congratulations.
Oh, I forgot that was his Eurovision song. I love that song.
Yeah. So
flawless rendition.
Flawless. That was that was a quote from a description of it. So after he came off stage, all hopes skyrocketed among the viewing public that we would do the double, because the year before, Sandy Shaw won, which is why it's being performed in England. Sandy Shaw won with the song Puppet on a String.
Oh, that song creeps me out. I think because I'm scared of puppets.
That might be. I think their dance routine was quite puppety as well, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway,
okay, so, fun. Good for us.
Sandy Shaw.
Yeah.
Good name as well. So all hopes were high. So the songs were over, and it was time for the votes. And as I said, the voting was done by panels of 10 people from each of the 17 countries. So 170 people basically deciding on who is the winner. After deliberations, the results started coming in. By the halfway mark, United Kingdom were tied at the top of the scoreboard with France, who each had 18 points. Spain were a little way behind with 14, and then Ireland fourth with 12. So it was close, it was exciting, and the United Kingdom were doing very, very well. With just 2 countries left to go, the UK and Cliff Richard were sitting top, clear, with 26 points. The closest competitor was Spain, who was sitting at 23 points, so 3 points behind. France had slipped way back with 20 points, and they were in third. So according to reports, everyone backstage had assumed that it was the UK's. The 2 writers of the song Congratulations, they were called Phil Coulter and Bill Martin. They were actually escorted to the winner's enclosure.
Oh my God. Oh no. Oh my God.
So, and if they were to win the song, they would go down in history as the first and currently only writers to write the winning song 2 years in a row.
And it used to be a big thing, like who the songwriters were.
Oh yeah.
That was I mean, nowadays no one gives a shit. But back then, it was a big thing as to okay, so the winner, well done you sung it, you performed it, that's great. But also, songwriter, you're contest. Amazing too. Yeah, it's a whole song contest. Yeah.
So they were in the winner's enclosure, and 2 countries left to go. Germany is up next, and the results come out.
Germany gonna fuck things up.
So Germany gives the UK 2 points. Then the score comes up for Spain, and they get a massive 6 points, which is the highest score that was given, joint highest score that was given throughout that whole evening. So that then puts Spain ahead of the UK, 29 points to 28. The next country and the last country gives 0 points to both the UK and Spain. So Spain wins by the skin of its teeth in a shocker, and Sir Cliff has to walk away in a very disappointing second place.
Oh, Cliff.
Poor Cliff. Phil Coulter, who was the writer who'd been taken to the winner's enclosure, said, and quote, "In one fell swoop, we were yesterday's men." Beautiful writing, though.
Phil, he deserves to win all the song contests.
He said, "We were quickly escorted from the winner's enclosure to the
to the loser's bin."
He says, "We were quickly escorted from the winner's enclosure to the loser's enclosure."
That's not a thing, is it? That's horrible. Enclosure. They just kick him out into the alley out the back.
And the suite I had booked for a celebration instead became a wake. He went on to say, and this is him in reflection now, he said, "There was certainly a sense that something odd had gone on. But maybe it was just the disappointment of coming so close to creating history."
Oh my God, is this like...
So, well, that was it. The record books showed that the winner that day was Spain with a song called La 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 by a singer called Maciel. And 4 decades pass, Isobel. 4 decades pass and we reach the year 2008. And towards the start of that year, there are rumours that a documentary has been made. A documentary about the night that I've just discussed. And in this documentary is an accusation that Francisco Franco, who was the then dictator of Spain, had in fact rigged Eurovision in his country's favour.
No.
So I'm just going to give you a little background on who Franco is, if your historical knowledge isn't quite up to...
what do you mean? Historical genius.
So he was a conservative monarchist on the right. Some say far right. I mean, he was friends with the Nazis, so that would be fair to say.
It's always nice to be friends with the Nazis.
When a leftist party came into power, he was also in the military. When a leftist party came into power in 1936, he staged a military coup, which led to the Spanish Civil War, in which 500,000 people died and a further 450,000 people fled.
So he's good. He's a good guy.
Yeah, when he came to power, he declared a totalitarian state, which he was at the top of course. And during the length of his reign, he committed a number of atrocities, which included the establishment of concentration camps, the use of forced labour, executions, and he caused the deaths of between 200,000 and 400,000 people, according to different reports. So, in case you were wondering who to back on this one, you've got Cliff Richard.
We're backing Cliff Richard.
Age 28, or General Franco. It's up to you. I'm just going to lay down the facts. So the Spanish entry had already had a rough ride before even entering Eurovision. The original singer, Joan Manuel Serrat, refused to perform La 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 in Spanish and rather said she was going to perform it in Catalan, which was her native language. The Catalan language was repressed during the dictatorship of Franco. Joan was ousted and Maciel was put in her place. So it was clear from the start that General Franco wasn't going to let this go wrong. He had his finger involved in this.
It
is amazing how...
Well, we discussed this last week, how political Eurovision can be. This is what we mean. This is why we're doing this podcast. It is not just some silly little song contest. No. People take it very seriously. Countries take it very seriously. And it can go clearly all the way to the top of whoever is leading that country will be involved and kick up a stink about something if they are not happy about how they're being represented to the rest of the world.
Yeah. Do you think Theresa May is going to get involved this year?
Oh, bloody hell. Well, I've told you, I'm scared she's not going to let us do it now. What's her new one now? Oh my God, that could be our new... That could be our song next year.
Red, white and blue Brexit.
Red, white and Brexit. That's going to be UK's Eurovision Song Contest entry next year.
And no one will give us any points. So in the documentary that made these accusations, a Spanish TV presenter who was a presenter at the time of Eurovision was quoted as saying, "It's a fix. Maciel won Eurovision with bought votes." The documentary was called 1968. I Lived the Spanish May, which is a beautiful name. So the documentary alleges that Franco was determined to claim Eurovision glory for Spain in a bid to improve his country's national image, boost its emerging tourist industry, and improve the regime's image within the country itself. The director, who is called Montse Fernandez Villa, said that looking at propaganda newsreel and the parties that were thrown for Maciel, she was turned into a national hero and all served to glorify the regime. What basically is suggested in the film is that executives from Spanish state-run television networks toured Europe with offers of cash, promises to buy random television series and host shows of obscure local singers and give away free holidays to Mallorca in return for their vote in the Eurovision Song Contest.
I mean, I'd take a holiday to Mallorca.
Yeah,
lovely.
I'll give you 6 points.
That's fair enough.
So, according to the documentary, the bribes worked, and as we heard, the victor on the night itself was Spain. Responding to calls for an inquiry into the matter in 2008, the director of organisers for Eurovision TV said, No. Just to make Cliff Richard a little happier and the Spanish winner a little bit more unhappy. And now I think this is a weird saying in that country because it says, I don't think you should dig up old bodies to prove he was or wasn't the father. It's history.
Oh,
I don't know, but that's clearly a weird translation.
I'm going to start using that phrase.
But yeah, so
that's
Eurovision.
No, but you should. It's not a case of just to make Cliff Richard a bit happy. Cliff Richard is a happy man.
He's a happy man.
He is a happy man. We know that.
Yeah.
He is not about him. This is about
fairness.
Exactly.
Justice.
Justice for all. Justice for Richard. That's what this is about.
So clearly the Eurovision people weren't going to look into it. Cliff did return to the Eurovision Song Contest in 1973 with the song Power to All Our Friends.
Don't know that one.
Which is a lovely title. I don't know either. However, he only placed third behind artists from Luxembourg and
Not
Spain.
No, oh, for God damn it. That's such bullshit.
The one person we haven't heard from is in all this mess is the man himself, Sir Cliff Richard. However, in 2008, when all of this was going on, thanks to The Guardian's hard work breaking hard news, they managed to get an exclusive interview with Sir Cliff on the matter in hand. And in the article, in the interview, he's quoted as saying, I've lived with this number 2 thing for so many years, which I love as a quote in itself. I've lived with this number 2 thing for so many years. It would be wonderful if some official from the contest turned around and said, Cliff, you won that darn thing after all. Aww. He said, it's never good to lose, never good to feel a loser. When I went on that night, I said to the band, look guys, there'll be 400 million people watching. It will be a massive plug for our song. And it was. I think we sold 1 million singles, but really we wanted to win. Which, you know...
I can imagine Cliff doing that as well.
Yeah.
Look, guys.
Hey, guys. This is great. Look,
hey, guys. We're going to have a great time tonight. We're going to sing congratulations. We're going to win. It's going to be bloody brilliant.
And he thought they were. So he also said that if the adjudication were... He said this, actually. He said that if the adjudication was overturned, he wouldn't hold Spanish singer Maciel to account. He would send her a signed copy of congratulations, which to me is a bit of a fuck you. I beat you.
That's kind of bitchy,
I beat you. Here's the song I did it with. Fine. So I do have to say that to protect yourself from any legal filings, any legal doings.
There was no proof of any of this actually happening.
This is all made up. No, Maciel has denied any sorts of rigging, saying that there were many singers who were much bigger fans of Franco than she was. And also the presenter who was quoted in the documentary has also since rescinded her comments, claiming that she was merely repeating rumours and conjecture that she had heard. So it appears as if we will never truly get to the bottom of what happened on that night in 1968. However, I think we can rest assured that Sir Cliff's reasonably all right.
He's doing all right,
He's doing okay. He's not doing too bad.
He goes to Wimbledon.
He does. And
he does the tennis.
He sometimes sings as well, and that's fine.
Just the singing. He loves it when it rains. I bet he goes hoping it rains.
He's the only one who goes hoping it rains.
Song.
So that was Cliff Richard versus Spain, 1968.
Oh, I feel so bad for Cliff. I never knew that.
Cliff Richard versus General Franco.
Versus the dictator of Spain. That's vaguely terrifying. Do you think if it had all gone wrong and Cliff had won, that Franco guy would have put a hit out on him?
Oh God, can you imagine? He wouldn't have let it go wrong. I think the hit would have been on the TV producers rather than Cliff. Who can put a hit on Cliff?
Oh, he's too lovely.
Look at his face. Hi guys.
Hi guys. Hey gang.
Oh.
Great story, Roland.
Yeah,
loved it. I never knew that.
Yeah, no,
that's vaguely terrifying.
So, Isobel, would you like to tell your Eurovision story?
Yay! So, in a bizarre turning of events, even though you did tell me what year you were doing, and then I think I pushed it to the back of my brain, so maybe subconsciously I chose this one, I weirdly am doing the Eurovision Song Contest 1969, the year later.
How very appropriate. So we know where it was held.
You know exactly where it's held. It's bloody held in Spain, isn't it?
And I bet Franco was there as well.
Oh my God. I have no knowledge of Franco. I wonder, I didn't even know to look him up to see if he was doing anything weird with this one.
But this is what we do with this podcast, is we fill in the gaps.
Oh.
So now we know.
So now we know. Okay, yes. So my one is going to be about the Eurovision Song Contest in 1969, which was the 14th in the series. The venue selected to host the contest was the Teatro Real, an opera house located in Madrid, in Spain, obviously.
Lovely.
The surrealist Spanish artist Salvador Dali was responsible for designing the publicity material for the 1969 contest, as well as the metal sculpture which was used on stage.
Oh my, that sounds fantastic.
They were swanky as fuck, right?
Yes.
Just prior to the show, Larita Valenzuela, the presenter, asked the producers, what would happen if there was a tie? The producers assured her that such a thing would never happen.
Larita.
They're gonna eat them words soon enough.
Amazing. Very dramatic.
Right, yeah. I'm trying.
Yeah.
The United Kingdom held a national pre-selection to choose the song that would go to the Eurovision Song Contest. It was held on the 22nd of February and presented by Michael Aspel.
Oh.
Song number 4 in this pre-selection competition, I Can't Go On Living Without You, was co-written by Elton John before he became a well-known singer or had a hit.
Wow. Was that back when he was called Reginald? Is that his name? Reggie?
Yeah, Reg. Let's call him Reg. Yeah.
Reg. I think he was. Anyway.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah. But it just says Elton John here.
I'll check it out, and if it's wrong, I'll cut it out of the podcast.
Why not? Or we'll just add it to any other business next week.
Oh, yeah.
Elton John's full name, and was he known as that in 1969?
Please don't sue us.
This song actually came second in the pre-selection competition, behind the inevitable chosen song, Boom Banger Bang, sung by Scottish pop star Lulu.
Oh, Lulu. God, they were
Lulu.
They were Cliff, Lulu, Sandy Shaw.
All the big names.
Yeah. I mean, Sandy Shaw less so, but like...
Still around
now,
I
know. And
longevity. That's what Eurovision gives you. Longevity.
Scooch.
Okay. Back in the day, it gave you longevity. All right. There's always an exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Okay. Austria was absent from the contest, refusing to participate in a contest stage in Franco-ruled Spain.
There you go.
Well done, Austria.
Good work, Austria.
Bloody well done you, because as we've just learned, Franco was a bit of a bastard.
He was a little bit of a bastard.
Wales wanted to debut with Welsh language broadcaster BBC Cymru. Is it Cymru or Cymru? Cymru.
Cymru.
Cymru. That sounds like I'm doing like a...
something.
Like a Manuel Spanish accent. Cymru. R.I.P. Andrew Sachs.
Oh.
And...
Jeez. We've already had genocide in the podcast. Now we've got the death of Andrew Sachs.
Well...
Yeah, I mean, cover all bases.
And also made a national selection called Can I Gymru. Sorry, Welsh people, if I said that wrong. So in the end, their participation was rejected.
Oh,
because
harsh.
Wales isn't a sovereign state. Only the BBC has the exclusive right to represent the United Kingdom.
Wow.
So again, guys, this is part of Eurovision rules. If you enter the contest, you have to screen the contest. And your broadcasting state has to enter the EBU, as we've explained before, the European Broadcasting Union, which Wales clearly couldn't enter.
So they weren't trying to enter a Welsh song through the BBC.
They wanted to be separate.
So, oh, gosh.
The 1969 contest was heading for a thrilling finale with France, the Netherlands and Spain tied on 18 points with just one country left to vote.
It seemed like it was way closer back then because also we have like 390 points like nowadays, whereas back then
you can win on 18. Now you have to win on 400 and there's so many more countries that enter. But as we've said, I think they've now fixed this because this year's was the most tense, stressful Eurovision final ever.
I'm
with
so
the point
excited.
System. So the new point system is incredible. Like they've totally fixed all this now.
We'll see how they do.
Yeah, insane.
Sorry, we keep jumping out of the timeline. Let's go back to 1969.
Back to 1969 again. Okay, so France, the Netherlands and Spain all tied on 18 points with just one country left to vote.
Shit.
Enter the mischievous Finns.
Oh, you Finns!
Who gave all three of those countries nil points.
Oh.
And the UK, who were on 17 points, 1 point.
No.
Which caused a 4-way tie.
Of course they did.
With no tie-break rule in place, the poor... the words that I found online, which I think is very mean, it said the hapless hostess, poor woman. But the host completely fell to pieces on screen.
Oh my God.
And things quickly degenerated into a total shambles live on TV. You can watch it on YouTube. That whole year, the show is available on YouTube to watch.
Oh my God, amazing.
And it's fantastic. The end bit is hilarious. She gets very flustered, this poor woman, where she's just stood next to the Spanish, maybe not the judges, but the Eurovision deciding team or whatever it is, like kind of panel of decision makers. She keeps like touching her hair and looking around like she doesn't know what to do because there's this board behind her with 4 countries on the same points. And in the end, actually, no, the best bit is when the camera turns round to the audience. They are going insane. They are like moaning and shouting. They're banging their fists on. Like they get really into it. They're really like, it's very like rumble, ruba.
That's Franco's Spain. That is.
Oh bloody hell! It's everyone. They get very like.
Oh my God!
It's a big deal. Everyone's freaking out. No one knows what to do. And then in the end, so it was the first time ever that the contest resulted in a tie for first place. And because at the time there was nothing in the rules for that eventuality, all 4 countries were declared joint winners.
Yay!
So all 4 countries won the Eurovision Song Contest that year. So I thought I would go through those entries and just explain what they were.
Yeah.
A little bit backstory to them.
Yeah.
So there was the Netherlands, which was Lenny Keur with Die Troubadour. That means the Troubadour. This was the Netherlands' 3rd win, and the Troubadour is it's not a good song. So Lenny is a very kind of hippie-ish woman. Also, all 4 entries that won as well, all 4 winners were all female solo singers.
Oh, go girls.
Fabulous. Female empowerment, you know. And she looks kind of hippie-ish in 60s. She's got a very long red dress on, kind of mousy brown hair, very sweet looking. The song is just to listen to. So it's sang in Dutch.
Okay.
And it's not the most interesting song to listen to for me. Then I read the lyrics and it gets even worse. It's such a pants song. It's about a troubadour.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So it has lyrics such as, the tales of bold and gallant knights, the fearless battles they would fight. These are the stories he'd recite. The troubadour. The many tidings he would bring about some poor and lonely king would never see another spring. The troubadour. And it goes like that. There's a lot of la 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 la, which we've said before, very popular in Eurovision. They love the la la, sings, babba-dee-dees, anything nonsense. It's not good. I mean, I'm very upset that it made it into the top 4 because it's compared to some of the others. No.
Okay. Well, that was a mistake.
That was a mistake on everyone's parts. Yeah. The next one was France. This is Frida Boccara, and her song was Un jour un enfant, which is one day a child.
Oh, that's such a Eurovision name.
It's very French song. So this was France's 4th win, becoming the first country ever to win the contest 4 times.
Amazing, good going France.
Well done to them.
Yeah.
It is the sort of song that sounds like it should be in the background of a Woody Allen rom-com maybe, because it sounds slightly like they're taking the piss out of French romantic songs.
Okay. Was it tongue in cheek?
No, it was not at the time. Okay. No, but and again, lyrically, so wet. Ooh. A day shall rise over 3 twigs of lilac, at which a child shall look like a picture book.
Oh, fuck.
The world around him shall be empty, and that is how he shall create life from the first page.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. Again. Not good. Very 60s Eurovision though. Very French.
It was a different time.
It sounds very sexy to listen to, and then you read the lyrics in English and you're like, no, thank you. Okay. The third song, UK. Okay, hello. Lovely Lulu. Hello, boom, UK. Bang, bang. Oh, yeah. So this was the UK's second win.
Great.
This is, again, most Eurovision fans will know the song Boom, Bang, Bang because it's one of our only wins. Yeah. So it's a very famous song, and Lulu's very famous. That's great. Yeah. Lulu, watching it, she's having a great time. So she is maybe 21, I think, when she entered this. It's still quite young. She looks a bit mental. Okay. Like, she's really going for it in terms of expression on her face. Yeah. Like, she's got very wide eyes. Yeah. There's lots of, like, looking around. And the song's all about falling in love with someone, basically, and, like, really being bloody obsessed with him. And so a little bit now, it looks like she's a bit of a bunny boiler, and she might stab you in the face if you don't marry her.
I'm sure it was perfectly charming at the time.
At the time, lovely. She looks bloody great. She looks very cute. Yeah. And some of the lyrics, my heart goes boom, bang, a bang, boom, bang, a bang, when you are near. Boom, bang, a bang, boom, bang, a bang, loud in my ear. Pounding away, won't you be mine? It's boom, bang, a bang all the time.
That's a good level of nonsense and real song.
Very nonsense. Good balance. Yeah. There's lots of her, like, heading to hug herself and stuff. Aww, it's very sweet. Really? It was fun Eurovision track, especially from the 60s. Okay,
so that was most deserving so far.
So far. But my favourite of all four, sorry Lulu, was Spain.
Oh, again.
Spain, shit. Salome with Vivo Cantando is incredible and should have just won, hands down. Geez. So Vivo Cantando, translated to English, means I live singing.
Oh.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, but
it was great. Anyway, this was their second win and the first time that any country had a winning entry for 2 years in a row.
There you go.
Which we know happened later in the 70s through Israel, as we discussed last week. Yeah. They won 2 years in a row.
Well, very nearly happened the year before with Cliff.
Bloody hell, nearly happened with Cliff as well. Yeah, exactly.
Spain got there first.
Happens more likely than you think.
Yeah.
And it's a very jazzy song. It gets very it gets faster and faster. It's incredible. And Salome is wearing this amazing blue fringe jumpsuit.
Oh.
And she shimmies a lot. And she is just mental. And there's three backing singers who are guys in tuxes. And basically, after the intro, after the first verse, it's just the chorus over and over again, but getting faster and faster. And the first time she sings it, it's just the chorus. Then she sings it, and the guys are like, "Hey!" after every single line.
Right.
Then it keeps getting faster, and they're still going, "Hey, hey, hey!" constantly. I was losing my. I've listened to it like 10 times today. It's amazing. I would highly recommend having a look at it. Yes. Salome. So her name is spelled Salome, and the song is called Vivo Cantando.
Yes.
And it's so much fun. I think that should have hands down won.
So what happened? Who hosted
the
next for 1970?
First I will explain.
Okay.
What would have happened with current rules in place?
Yes.
Because after this happened, because they didn't think there would be a tie at any point. So had the later tie-break rule be in place, which they put in afterwards, which is that the country receiving the highest score from any other country is the winner. So this was used in 1991 when there was a tie break.
But
the Netherlands would have won in that case because they received 6 points from France. United Kingdom would have then been runner-up because they received 5 points from Sweden.
Okay.
So remember, back then, points were smaller because there were less countries involved.
Yeah.
On the other hand, with the present tie-break rule being in place, which is that the song receiving votes from the most countries. So France, in that case, in current rules, France would have been the overall winner.
Because their vote was spread.
Yeah, their vote was more spread across more countries, with Spain then in second place. So if you're looking at different rules, there would have been completely different winners again.
Yeah, yeah. So you can't even go back in time and go, you guys were the actual winners.
Very stressful. Going back to 1969, actually on the night, The organisers didn't have enough winners' medals, meaning the few they did were distributed to the winners as there were not enough to go round. So only the singers received their medals on the night. The songwriters, to some disgruntlement, were not awarded theirs until after the date of the contest.
Then that was when the songwriters were really celebrated.
They were very celebrated. They had their names on screen. It showed them at the beginning, it showed the conductors of the orchestra. It had their names on screen. They came onto the stage. So when you watch this on the video of it online, obviously everyone comes on stage when they're getting handed out their medals. So the singers come on and the songwriters, but the songwriters just have to stand there next to the singers who have their medals. Everyone looks very confused. And the previous, is she called Marcella from the previous year, who won the Spanish winner?
Maciel, Massiel,
Maciel. So she comes on to hand out the medals. She looks incredible. She's wearing this sparkly fur coat.
Oh, wow.
I think might be drunk because she's staggering a little bit.
That was fine back then.
She looks incredible. And then all the winners come on and take their medals, and just look, Lulu bounds onto the stage and then looks very confused about the whole thing, and no one quite knows what's going on. But they got their medals, so that's fine.
Yeah.
A shell-shocked audience then had to watch all 4 songs played again because they all won, didn't they? Which, as there were only 16 entries in the contest, meant they rewatched exactly a quarter of the contest again.
That's a late night.
So the way they worked it out the next year was that basically Spain had hosted that year.
Yeah.
UK had hosted the year before.
Makes sense.
So they ruled both of them out straight away.
Fine.
So it was just down to the Netherlands and France.
Yeah.
I can't remember the reasoning, but ended up being the Netherlands.
Okay, fine.
So they ended up having it. They were very fair. They were very even, very just about this.
Yeah. And
last part of this is that the next year, hosted in the Netherlands, 5 countries boycotted the following year's events as a result of this mix-up. Finland, Norway, Portugal, Sweden. So,
none of the ones who were in the tie.
Oh, no. The ones who were in the tie are perfectly happy to join in again.
Do it again.
Other people kicked off about it. So Finland, Norway, Portugal and Sweden all boycotted the next year, along with Austria, who had also boycotted 1969. So now I just start to feel like Austria just likes boycotting stuff.
They're just kicking off a fuss.
They just didn't want to enter.
They didn't have an entry.
First I was like, yeah, well done, fighting the system. Now I'm like, Austria didn't have a good enough song, did they? So they just
It's a small country. There's not that many people there. Probably only 200 people there.
I also found while I was looking at this, when I was Googling Eurovision 1969, here we go, it's going to come up. I found a website for someone called Tim Luscombe.
Excellent.
Who did a one-man play called The Death of Gogol and the 1969 Eurovision Song Contest.
Holy smokes.
I'm just going to read you the synopsis.
Okay.
This is from 2005. This 1 hour, one-man musical tragical comedy uses songs from the 1969 Eurovision Song Contest and premiered at the Drill Hall London in 2005. Synopsis. Lenny Kerr, an 18-year-old singer-songwriter and communist lesbian virgin. I have no idea if that's true about Lenny.
Communist lesbian virgin.
Prepares to represent the Netherlands in the Eurovision Song Contest. Meanwhile, Stuart has something to send in the post. A just completed radical treatise which will set the record straight about exactly how gay Nikolai Gogol was. I don't know who Nikolai... I should have Googled that.
Gogol.
And what was his predilection for Cossacks all about?
Oh, God.
Is Lenny merely part of Stuart's imagination? And if not, why would she let him switch off the Eurovision Song Contest and go and post his treatise? The Death of Gogol in the 1969 Eurovision Song Contest is a unique entertainment. A one-man show with a cast of thousands. It veers from a celebration of glorious Euro campery to a moving exploration of one man's agoraphobia via a quick peek at those sexy Cossacks.
Oh, that sounds... Tim, if you're listening... we will give you...
Read an excerpt of the play. Oh my God, I didn't see that before.
Isabel, do it.
Request a copy of the script. There's an actual link for it.
Wait, was this a one-man play?
Yes. So I could just do this on my own.
This
and
is
it
like we're
fine.
there. We went, yeah. Well, I think we'll explore
Oh my God, I can't believe I never clicked on this. There is so much here. This is going to be insane. Maybe we shouldn't do it as a one-man... Maybe it would be good if I did it as a one-man play.
I think maybe we should.
Radio.
Maybe that could be voices. A bonus podcast. Is you just doing the whole play?
Okay, if this podcast ever gets big enough, I am going to do as a one-man play Tim Luscombe's 1969 Eurovision Song Contest about Lenny and Stuart and some sexy Cossacks, and so, I will read the entirety.
That is your motivation, ladies and gentlemen, to subscribe, like, and leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you're listening to this podcast.
There's mention of the 1968 Eurovision Song Contest in
it's like it's meant to be. Us. Oh my God, this is amazing. Tim, you must be listening to this podcast. You wrote a play about Eurovision. This is a Eurovision podcast. Just get in touch with us. Eurovision podcast, Europhoria podcast at gmail.com. Please get in touch. We would love to hear from you. Isabel, that was a fantastic story with an extra little bonus at the end. I really enjoyed that.
So excited about it now.
What ridiculous. That poor presenter.
Oh, it's so funny. You have to watch it. So some of the entries, definitely watch Spain's because it's incredible. And her blue fringe jumpsuit is just mind-blowingly sexy. But just to watch that end bit of this poor woman looking flustered and then the cut to the audience of them looking livid at the ridiculousness of what's going on.
I mean, I would be outraged. It was, I
think I'd just be howling with laughter.
Can you imagine if it was a tie?
I'll put a photo up on Instagram of the scoreboard with all of them on 18.
Yeah. I love
it's
that.
So funny.
I love that the UK got pushed into first at the last one. They're like, oh, well, surely one of them. It's like, no, it's a bigger
us
too. We're involved too. So, Isabel, we have done our stories. You've still got quite a lot of red wine left to drink.
I just did my talking bit, didn't I?
I know. How are your feelings doing? Not falling out?
No, but I can feel them with my tongue.
Feel them in your mouth?
And then when I shut my teeth together.
Ooh, I bet it feels weird.
Yeah, because why is this allowed? I don't understand how this is an okay thing to do to people.
My plan is...
Why? Have you got fillings?
No, because I'm just not going to go to the dentist.
No, but that's what I did, and now I need 3. And now I have 3 bloody fillings, don't I?
Yeah, but what if you just never went?
I've had to get a root canal. That's what the dentist said.
Oh, fuck, I'm going to have to get a
root canal. Your
nerve
dies.
But then you don't feel it and it's fine.
But then you don't have teeth. You have to have
I want teeth. I need teeth.
I'm not going to lie. It's bloody horrible. And I know this is such a princess thing because I'm 28 and I've just had my first fillings and I'm kicking off about dental work. But I've never had dental work before. So this is my first experience of realising it's horrible. Like, actually going through the experience was fine. I didn't mind it. It wasn't painful or anything. But now I have metal in my mouth forever.
Don't ever bite on tin foil.
Oh my God, no.
Don't do it.
No, it makes me feel sick already.
It has like an electric shock thing that goes into your nerves and your gums. It's insane.
I don't know how am I going to...
How are you going to live?
Right now, how am I going to live with this? Is that too extreme?
Your mouth's different. Things change and you'll get used to it. But you'll move on. Isabel, it has come to the time of the podcast where I do my bit. I take centre stage. I take all...
Where Roland should always be.
and I play my song that I recorded.
Okay.
I didn't quite explain as well how I do this. I don't know if I've explained it to you either, Isabel. So when I record my song, I use GarageBand on my iPad.
Good.
You know, and it's amazingly versatile. I've got a xylophone I can use if I want. It's amazing. But the thing that I have to actually physically do is do the singing. Now, we live in London and, you know, you're not far away from anyone else. I've got people below me and people either side of me, so I don't really want to sing in the flat. But so what I do is I go to my car, I drive it to a quiet road and sit with my iPad on my lap and belt out these Eurovision songs.
Because that doesn't look creepy or weird.
And I generally just sit outside someone's house and do it, which I'm terrified that someone's going to come out
in South London.
Yeah, in South London.
Do you have your car at your house?
Yeah, I do. It's luxury, isn't it? Anyway, so if you see a man in a car with an iPad just belting out a song in South London,
it's Roland.
Just let him be.
Just leave him alone.
Leave him alone. A group of 3 teens walked by the other day, and I was well embarrassed. I had to stop halfway through. No, in fact, in this song, if you listen really carefully, you can hear the moment I lock my car doors as someone's walking by.
Oh, Roland!
But it's all for the podcast, so that's absolutely fine. So. This song, a bit like you mentioned earlier, we mentioned last week, I was inspired by when we were talking about nonsense words and non-words, and people love a la 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 and love a lulu. So I set myself the challenge for the chorus of this song to be mainly non-words. So we'll see how we do. We'll see how we do. Are you ready? This song...
Okay, name.
This song is called My heart begins to beat.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
From a million miles away, in 1,000 places, there's a force I feel today, and it takes me over, and so my feet begin to do the walking, as I feel the call into the light, and then we meet, and my mind starts thinking, could this be where the thing turns right? And my heart begins to beat. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, and my heart begins to beat. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. I can fight the moon and charm the stars. I'm a god when you take my heart. I'm moving mountains, building fjords, 'cause love has pushed me through this door. And then we meet, and my mind starts thinking, could this be where the things turn right? And my heart begins to beat. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh, oh. My heart begins to beat. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. My heart begins to beat. Oh, oh, oh.
Oh my god, what you guys couldn't see was that Roland was dancing to his own song throughout.
I was giving an example of what the choreography could be.
Oh my god, I'm
so
crying.
Your face wasn't quite the same as the face you made last week. And now I don't know if that's just you're used to the sort of songwriting I'm doing now, or
that was so incredibly wonderfully bad.
I don't know what.
I think that was if that was entered in
you wouldn't blink twice.
No, I would not blink twice.
Yeah.
That would be a legitimate.
It wouldn't win.
Eurovision song. No, it would come a very respectable 7th.
No, I would say 13th.
I don't know.
It depends. Who's got the country behind it and all that.
You're still in the bracket that's you're not close enough for anyone to be impressed.
No.
So
forgettable.
It's forgettable. It's not one that I'm going to, in years to come, still be singing. But then when it gets put on, you'll be like, oh yeah, that was that weird Italian entry, wasn't it? That was a slightly odd one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that...
But I feel like the chorus did its job. There was lots of O's.
Yeah, I can imagine people like pumping their fists in the air and like doing lots of stomping,
waving a flag,
and waving some flags.
Yeah.
Like they might be, the lead singer will be wearing leather.
Here's the thing I think about it is last week's one, United We Dance, Divided We Fall. It was a concept. It was a strong concept. It was about bringing people together. When you've got a chorus that goes A-O, there's not much of a concept behind it at that point. Or it was just a shit song.
Yeah, I think
I was trying to explain it away.
No, I think you did very well. But last week you started so bloody high with that though, because that not only was a great song, but also right up my alley in terms of what my sorts of Eurovision songs would be. And very campy, very trashy, very easily could be like Scandinavian. Trashy pop.
I think I'd been like. What's the word? I've been like building that one up in my own head for like years, and so when we started the podcast, that just came out so easily. That is the
reason why we've done the podcast, is just so that Roland could write that song.
Get that one song out. That might be my peak. This one I struggled a bit more with. This one I had the backing track to straight away, and I was like, it's a good backing track. Actually, if I take my vocals away,
that could be a Katy Perry song.
Yeah, it could be about being a woman.
Again, Roland is such a feminist, guys. You'll hear this week in, week out. He just bloody loves ladies.
So and again, I'm not the best singer, but I got the idea across.
You tried your hardest,
so
and that's what counts.
Again, between 0 and dues, what would you vote that song? You're a country, your people have voted. Isabel, what is your vote?
4 points.
Was that 8?
4.
Oh, 4. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
4. Oh, we've had a big drop from 10.
4.
Yeah, 4. Okay,
Sorry,
that's
love.
fine. No, I can deal with that. You know what? I'll take that and I'll learn.
Okay, good.
And
It's constructive
next
criticism.
week I will do better. So, okay, that's a song, and please feel free. And I was going to say actually, we need to quickly get our various contact details together. What is our?
Oh bloody hell! Yeah. So
Twitter.
we actually did after last week of our
I got the
absolute
internet
shit show of working out what we. Email us and follow us on Instagram, and we had none of that stuff set up.
No.
We actually have it all now. So we have an Instagram account, which if I can get it up on my phone, it is Europhoria Podcast. So we are going to put onto that. We'll put on some pictures of the topics that we've been talking about. So for last week, we're going to put up pictures of Sylvia Knight, in her wonderfully bonkers outfits, and so I'll put up a photo for this week of the some of the entries. Oh, the wonderful blue fringe jumpsuit. It's going straight up.
Yes, please.
And we also have a Twitter account, Roland.
Our Twitter account handle is @EurophoriaCast. So the Instagram is Europhoria Podcast. The Twitter feed is @EurophoriaCast. We'll be tweeting any Eurovision news, anything about us, any fun little facts and a little behind the scenes photos as well, and probably links to the songs as well, because I want people to listen to my songs again. So follow us @EurophoriaCast and you can find out more about what's going on there as well. Our email address is also europhoriapodcast@gmail.com. As we sort of jokingly said at the start of last week, but please do, because the quality of my songwriting is going downhill very quickly. Please send in songs, any song, and we will listen and love it as well.
And any information about our stories, if we've got something wrong, or if you know an extra bit to the story, if you know for definite whether or not Franco did rig the contest, or if you know where I can buy that blue fringe jumpsuit, please email us or tweet us and just let us know, because we really want to hear from people, and we want to know what you think of this, because we're only on episode 2.
Yeah. So, and if you're listening to the podcast on iTunes, please subscribe and leave a review and leave a rating, because that's how we work our way up the rankings to become the eventual inevitable #1 comedy podcast on iTunes, which is, I've heard about 8 podcasts say that they are at some point. So we're hoping to reach that point as well. We're going to go, but before we go, as we say every week, Isabel, our sign off. If you take away my Eurovision, I will...
Oh, I'll be bloody mad.
Bye. Oh, I can't do that voice.
That's another podcast.